All right, this video will show you how to enroll and unenroll a student or students in PANext. So here's the template you're going to need. Notice column A, it has the student ACT code, if any. So if you're unenrolling a student from your school, then you do know the student ACT code. You're going to get that from PANext, and I will remind you how to do that. If you're unenrolling a student from your school, then you're going to put your school's ACT code here. If the student's enrolling at another school and you don't know the ACT code, then leave it blank. You're going to need the student's last name. You're going to need the student's first name. You need the grade level. You're going to put 11 or 12. Do not put 9 or 10, 9 or 10th grade. And then date of birth. Now, there's a certain format that this date of birth has to be in. So if you click on this part here, you'll see the required. So this field must be in month, day, and then the 4-digit year, or MD, and then the 4-digit year format as well. Okay, so for example, if it's March 24th, 2004 or 3, you would write it like that. Okay, and then the 10-digit and then state student ID is the LACID. So make sure you're putting the student's LACID there and not the local school ID. Okay, so the LACID goes there, that 10-digit LACID. And then you must put the delivery format, either P for paper or the letter O for online. Okay, and then if you're unenrolling, remember we were discussing about unenrolling here. If you're unenrolling a student, from your school that has accommodations, then you will know the PIN number. All right, so you will know the PIN number, so go ahead and include the PIN number. All right, so that's unenrolling. If you are enrolling a student that comes to your school, so if you're going to enroll a student in PANext, you probably will not know the student code. So leave that blank. You probably will not have an easy time determining the school code where the student came from. So leave that blank. Just make sure, though, if the student's enrolling at your school, you do put this Enroll high school code. You put your school code here. You put the student's last name, the student's first name, the grade level, the date of birth that you'll have to get in J Campus, and the student LACID you'll have to get from J Campus, because as students enrolling at your school, that information will not be in PANext. And then if the student's taking paper online, you put that here. Okay? If you don't know the PIN number, leave that blank. You probably will not know the PIN number. All right, so the different scenarios, whether you're unenrolling or whether you are enrolling. Okay, so we're going to talk about that as we go through the process. Okay, so all right, I want to show you where to get that form. So to get the form, to get that template that we were just looking at, you're going to go into PANext. Just make sure it says ACT Spring 2022, and make sure it says your school name here, and then in parentheses, that's your ACT, your school ACT code. So to get that template, you're going to go to Support, and then you're going to go to Documentation. When you go to Documentation, you're going to see the hyperlink Enroll or Unenroll Students. When you click on this Enroll or Unenroll Students, it will then download it on the bottom left. So when you open it up, you are then going to get this. And that's that same form we saw earlier. Now notice on the top here, for me, it has protected view and it says enable editing. So right now, if I were to type in any of the cells, notice nothing no characters are being typed. So I have to enable editing. So if you get this, make sure you enable editing. And now you're able to type in characters in those fields, those cells. Okay. All right. So that's how you're going to get the enroll unenroll form. So again, you're going to go to PANext. You're going to click on documentation, support. Let's go to support. Click on documentation, and then this will show up. Click on this. It opens up at the bottom left. When you open it up, you get let's see, you get this. Okay, just make sure it says enable editing. Okay, now let's go ahead and do an example. Now, let's suppose our example is unenroll a student. So I want to unenroll a student from my school. Okay, if I'm unenrolling a student from my school that's in PANext, then I will know all of this information. I will know the student code. I will know the unenroll high school code. I will also know the last name, first name, the grade level, the date of birth, the LACID, the delivery format, and if the student had accommodations, had approved accommodations, I will also know the TA PIN number. Okay, so let's just do that example first. So let's suppose, and let me show you where to get this information. Since I am unenrolling a student, then to get all of this information I need, I don't have to go to JCampus to get all of this. All of this will come from PANext. So let me go ahead and show you how to get this. Okay, so to get that information you need, you're going to go to Setup, and then you're going to click on Students. So we're going to go to Setup, and then click on Students. Now, I'm not going to click on Students in this video because the student's information is going to show up here. It automatically populates. All right, but if you do that, when you click on Students, this is what you're going to see. So let me go ahead and pull that over. So when you click on Students, you can get the student code. That's that ACT code we're talking about. This ACT code here, that column. And you're going to get the student's last name, first name, and the date of birth. Okay? But I want you to notice something. So let's suppose I want to unenroll this student here, that very first student. Do you see that blue eye right here, that circle? If you click on that circle, that circle will give you a lot more information about that student. That circle will give you all of the information you need to unenroll those students. So let me show you what that looks like. So if you click on the blue hyperlink circle here, you're going to get this. So for that student, when you click on that blue hyperlink, this is what shows up. So if you click on details, you're going to get the student code, the ACT code, that's this. You're going to get the student LACID. Remember that 10-digit LACID that's needed? The student's first name, the student's last name, the date of birth, and the grade level. All of the information you need to unenroll a student is found here. Okay? All right. So that's how you would unenroll a student. So let's go ahead and do an example. So let's say I'm unenrolling this student. Let's say the student ACT code is 494. Sorry, I need one more digit. So let's put the digit 4 here. Okay, and let's say my high school code is 238724. Okay, and I'm unenrolling the student from my school, which has this ACT code. I don't know where that student is going. All I know that student has dropped, right? Or it could be that I mistakenly added that student, and so I need to remove that student. All right, so just unenroll. Leave. You're not enrolling the student. Leave that blank. Leave this blank. You are going to need the last name of that student. You are going to need the first name of that student. you're going to need the student grade level. Let's say it's grade 12. And the student's date of birth. Let's say it's March 24th, 2002. And the student LICID. The student LICID. So let's say it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1. Okay? So there's the student LICID. If you have another student you need to unenroll, then go ahead and put that second student here. All right? Now, that's unenroll. Okay? So the way I would do this, though, is I would put all the unenrolls on one form. All right, so once you do that, once you put all the students you're unenrolling on one form, so remember you are going to know the student ACT code. The unenroll is your high school code. You probably won't know where the student's going, so leave that blank. Put the student's last name, first name. Don't worry about the middle name. That's optional. You're going to need the grade level, the date of birth. Remember, it has to be that certain format. And then the LICID. Oh, I forgot to put, let's say it's online, and the student doesn't have any accommodations. If the student has accommodations that you're unenrolling, you can get the PIN number from PANext. I'm sorry, TAA. So go to TAA to get that PIN number. Okay? And don't forget to delete the sample. See, that's a sample right here, so don't forget to delete that. So just highlight that row, right click, and delete. Okay? So that's my unenroll. Okay. Now, let's do an example where a student comes to your school, and you have to enroll that student. Okay, so to enroll the student, let's go ahead and remove this. Oops. All right, let's do this again. So to enroll the student, you're probably not going to know the student code, so leave that blank. You probably will not know the high school code of the high school where the student's coming from. Leave that blank. Just go ahead and put your school code to enroll. So let's say your school code is this. Okay. You do know the student's last name. You do know the student's first name. You do know the student's grade level. You do know the student's date of birth, right? You do know the student's LICID, right? You have to know that. Okay? And you do know the delivery format, so let's say it's paper. And if you have not yet done your documentation for accommodations, if the student has any, at this point you're going to have to do that. Okay, so if a student has just come to your school and that student needs accommodations, remember you have to come now, since the deadline has passed, you now have to do, and it's in your Canvas course, you now have to do the qualified exceptions to the deadline. All right, so you need to do that for that student. Okay, so this is all you need. So if you are enrolling a student that comes to your school from now until a few days before testing, then you do the Enroll High School, which is your high school code, the student's last name, first name, grade level, date of birth, student LICID, and delivery format. And if you if the student is coming to your school from a school within our district and the student has accommodations, then you can just call that school, get the PIN number. Okay? All right. Now, once you do all that, though, now you have to upload this. You have to upload this into PANext. So let's go ahead and save this. I'm going ahead and save this. I'm going to go ahead and save it as, let's go ahead and browse desktop, and I'm just putting it somewhere. Let's see, ACT information. Just thinking something real quick. Let me just put it here. So I'm just do this. Okay, so I'm going to save it. So I'm just saving as a regular Excel document. So I'm going to go ahead and move this away. All right, so this is where you go to upload the spreadsheet. Okay, so you're going to go back to PANext and go back to support. Go back to support, and this time you're going to go to support request. So when you go to support request, you are then going to go to the start right here, that start menu. You're going to do the drop down, and you're going to go create edit requests. So start, create, edit requests. So click on that, and this is what you see. So anything with an asterisk is required. Okay, so you're going to click on the organization. There should only be one school that shows up for you. You're going to do a title, whatever title you want to use. You could put the. I've seen some test coordinators just put the I don't know, the month of the testing year, maybe January, and let's say the date 12th 2022, something like that. And then the category, and that's why I said do one for enroll, so that way the category is strictly enroll. If it's unenroll, do one for unenroll. Okay, so if you're unenrolling, then notice it says question or concern. You may not have a question and you may not have a concern, but there's an asterisk there, so you have to put something. So I would just put something like please, and since this is unenroll the 3 students. Okay, and you can go back right here, maybe change the title however you want to, but you have to have a title. Unenroll, or you can put 3 students, and then put the date, January 8th 2022, however you want to do this. Okay, but you have to have a title, and you have to have a question concern listed here. It may not even be a question of concern. It may just be, say, please unenroll these students. All right, so then you're going to find that file. So you're going to choose files. You're going to find your file that you uploaded. Let me just see if I can quickly get this without wasting too much time. Let's see, and I think it was right here. So right here, and then notice the title name shows up, and then you create, click and create. Now I'm not going to click and create because there's really nothing in there, right? So I don't want ACT to be fooling with something that's not correct. But you would click create, and once you click and create, you should get a message here, and I cannot remember what that message is, but you get a message that says your file has been uploaded or something. But I want you to know something. Suppose you chose a file and that file you chose was not the correct file. You just go here, see where it says the little X, uploaded date. You just click on that. You click on this. And by the way, when you create, just to remind you, when you click and create, the date will appear here. Right now, it's just an X because I haven't created yet. So it's giving you a chance to make sure that this is the file that you actually need to upload. If for some reason you clicked on the wrong file, just go here, click on the X, and then remove it. Okay, and you go and you find the correct file to upload. Okay, and once you find the correct file you're going to upload, create, you'll get a message up here, and then there's going to be a date here. Okay, and that's it. So that is how you are going to either enroll or unenroll a student. Remember though, if you enroll a student, you're not going to know the student code. You probably are not going to know the unenroll, so leave it alone. Let ACT handle that. Let ACT handle that unenroll. You do need to put your school, if the student's enrolling at your school, the last name, first name, grade level, date of birth, and then the list SID, and then the paper format. All right. If you know the PIN number, or I should rephrase that, if the student's coming from a school that's in our district, you can call the test coordinator to get that PIN number that goes there. If the student is, if you are unenrolling the student, then you do know the student code. You're going to put your school code here for the unenroll. Leave this blank because you probably do not know where that student is going. And if you did, you probably do not know that particular high school ACT code. You do know the student's last name. You do know the student's first name. You do know the grade level. You do know the date of birth. You do know the student LACID. You do know the delivery format. And if the student that you're unenrolling had accommodations, you do know the PIN number because you can go into TAA to get that PIN number. Okay, so that is how you are going to enroll or unenroll students in PANext.